Hello and welcome. My name is George, and my channel is all about helping you get the most out of Logic Pro so that you can record and produce your best music in your home studio. Apple has just released the new Logic Pro version 12, so we're going to take a look at all the new features that have been added. So let's dive in. Now, for starters, one of the things that I was really wondering about, and I'm sure many other people are as well, is whether or not we'd be able to update from Logic 11 to Logic Pro 12 without having to repurchase. And I'm glad to say that the answer is yes. We can simply update to Logic Pro 12 without having to purchase a new version. Now, the one thing is you do need to be on Mac OS 15.6 or higher. So that is Sequoia. And if you're on an Intel based Mac, well, you're still able to update. However, just the same as in Logic Pro 11, there are some features that won't be available to you. Now, there was also concern about Apple introducing a new subscription plan, and they have done that, but you can still purchase Logic Pro individually. So there's still the option of just paying for it up front and not having to worry about any subscriptions. Now, where the subscriptions comes in is with their new Creator Studio. So this is a collection of different apps, including Logic Pro, Final Cut, Compressor and Mainstage, and many others. So these are available as a bundle, as a subscription. But as I said, if you prefer just to buy Logic Pro outright, then you can still do that. Now, the last thing I'll touch on before we dive into the new features is it's always a good idea to back up your previous version, especially early on with the very first update. So in order to do that, all you have to do is open up your applications folder, and then you can right click and compress your previous Logic version and then rename that to the version number just so you know what that is. And then after you've done that, that kind of saves your older version and you can go ahead and update to the latest version. Okay, so one of the features we've been waiting for that I get a lot of comments, especially on my chord track video, is there was previously no way to analyze chords and Logic and have those easily get applied to the chord track. Now there is, thankfully. So for example, I have this instrumental track here, which sounds like this. And now I can simply analyze this piece of music and have that appear in my chord track. You can see my chord track right now is blank. So all you have to do is right click on your region, go to chords, and apply region chords to chord track. And there you go. Now you see the chords up top there, and they also get embedded in the actual region. So this is great because this is going to allow us to use all the session players and have them follow the chord track up here. Now, a little tip, if you have, a full song with vocals and everything, and it's a little too dense and Logic's not picking up the chords, then we can use the stem splitter to kind of isolate just one instrument and get the chords off of that. So for that, all we do is right click and go to processing, stem splitter, and then you can select, let's say, the piano, and grab the chords just from the piano track. Okay, so that was just a little tip if you can't get the chord extracted just from the full track. So now we've got my piano and the rest of my vocals all there. So now let's look at another new feature, and that has to do with the pattern region. So I'm going to create a new pattern region, software instrument. I'm going to go with Drum Machine Designer. And let's choose a new kit. Let's go with, oh, I'm going to just pick something at random. Let's try, well, why don't we try the cinematic funk? Let's close this. And let's create a new pattern region. So I just right click and let's stretch this over our chorus. And now you'll see in the pattern region these little boxes here. And these are all pattern randomizers. And if I press this one at the very top, it's going to randomize for the entire kit. And I can pretty confidently say that this is not going to sound that great. No, not for my taste anyways. So let's pare this back a little bit. If we click the little clear button here, that'll get rid of everything. Let's just input the kick manually and our snare. And let's kind of build it up from there. So that sounds like this. When I look in your eyes, I see you. Okay, nice and simple. Now let's try the randomizer on the hi-hat. When I look in your eyes, I see you slipping away. It kills me inside, don't wanna hurt you this way. When you're here by my side, I feel you slipping away. Okay, so that's starting to work. You can obviously still add or subtract to kind of make it your own. So I just added a couple there. And anytime you hit that, it's just going to regenerate. Why don't we kind of make this kick pattern a little bit more interesting? So I'm just going to manually kind of add to it. When I look in your eyes, I see you slipping away. It kills me inside, don't wanna hurt you this way. When you're here by my side, I feel you slipping away. Okay, there's a good starting point. And now you can also randomize some other parameters, not just adding in the kind of actual instrument. If we go and expand right here, this little pull down, then you have all the different parameters. So for example, velocity, we can randomize that a little bit. And if we want to raise the velocity, we can do that. Let's get it so that they're a little bit, yeah. Let's see what that does. When I look in your eyes, I see you. So humanizes a little bit instead of it being all the same, right? And maybe we'll try the note repeat, but maybe let's bring these down a bit. When I look in your eyes, I see you slipping away. It kills me inside, don't wanna. Cool. Let's stick with that. So there's a little overview of the new pattern randomize. Just help you come up with some new ideas, and you don't have to use it in a crazy way. Like when we first started, you can just, tastefully add it. And the hi-hats is one where I think I'll probably use it to try and come up with some new patterns there. So let's keep building on what we have now, and we're going to look at some of the new session musicians that were added. So the synth keyboard player has been expanded. There's now additional synth players as well as a synth bass player. So why don't we create a new session player, and let's go with the bass player to start. And if we click on here you'll see, we have all the electric basses and acoustic that we had before, but now we have this pump bass, 808 bass, and sequence bass. Let's give the sequence bass a try. Let's see what it sounds like right off the bat. When I look in your eyes, I see you slipping away. Kills me inside, don't wanna hurt you Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of dial in these parameters um, a little bit, probably bring the complexity down and maybe mess with the pattern and see what else we can do.
When I look in your eyes, I see you slipping away. Kills me inside, don't wanna hurt you this way. When you're here by my side, I feel you slipping away. Tell you a lie, I just need you to stay. You're slipping away. Slipping away, slipping away. When I look in your eyes, I see you slipping away. Kills me inside, don't wanna hurt you this way. When you're here by my side, I feel you slipping away. Tell you a lie, I just need you to stay. You're slipping away, slipping away, slipping away.
Okay, so there's a starting place. Just going to bring this volume down a little bit. Now let's check out some of the keyboard player synths. So again, we'll add a new session player. Now we'll go to keyboard player. And previously we already had the simple pad in Logic Pro 11, but now we've had the modulated pad and the rhythmic pad. So the simple pad was just kind of some held chords. And let's check out this modulated pad, see what that sounds like.
When I look
Now, one thing I've noticed, which I think must be just an early glitch, is enabling volume automation and it's pinned to +6. So let's just go ahead and undo that.
you this way. When you're here by my side, I feel you slipping away. Tell you a
Okay, cool. Now let's check out the rhythmic chords and see what that's about. Cool. So we started with basically just the vocal and the piano, and we were able to build this up real quickly just using the synth session player. Now, obviously, there's a lot more that you could dive into with tweaking all the effects and everything. And I'll create a dedicated video on doing all of that. But for this, I just wanted to kind of introduce the new session player and get a feel for how all that's working. Now, one of the other things that changed in this new update is the sound library. So if you go to Logic Pro and go to sound library, and you can also access this by going to click on this Get More Sounds button. Now we can see all the available sounds here and also manage all our separate sound packs. So you can see exactly how big each of them are and delete as necessary. But the one cool thing is you can actually preview all of these. So if you click on here, there's a preview button. So you can get a sense of what it sounds like before you go ahead and download them. Now, thankfully, you can still move these off of your internal drive. So to do that, you just go to Logic Pro and then Settings, and under General, there's now a Sound Library tab, and this is where you can relocate the sound library. So there's a quick run through of some of the more major features that got added to the new Logic Pro 12 update. Myself, I always get a little anxious when I hear that there's a major update coming. I always hope that they don't mess with things too much, and thankfully they didn't. They just added a few new features and session players. So that's all fine by me. I'll take that any day. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments below. And I also want to thank you for all the likes and subscribes. And if you want to improve your workflow in Logic Pro, don't forget to download my free Ultimate Logic Pro Starter Pack. This includes my Logic Pro hotkey cheat sheet, my audio recording guide, my mixing guide, my gear guide, and my Logic Pro session templates. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.